Hello and welcome, everybody. How are we all doing? Myself, Hanford, and Aaron. Today, we're going to be talking mostly about the new UI. We're going to have a little play around with that one there, and also touch on Midas as well, which is really awesome.
Yep. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Feel free to ask questions along the way.
How we doing? We've got Paul in, Teddy. Hey, guys. How we doing? And say also as well, any questions you guys have, ask away about anything, and we'll try and answer the best we can. So this is mostly for you guys, so you can talk to us and sort of ask your questions. So that's our main aim here, is to answer all those. Go from there.
All right, so I'll share my screen and we'll take a look at the new UI and how it's progressing.
Very exciting stuff.
So basically, what I've instructed the devs to do for now is to polish, like basically we're getting the stake section that I'm on right now. And if anybody wants to check this out for themselves, it's the URL's max.bomb.app. That will change when we're ready for production, but for now that'll get you there. So we have the single asset staking working. The utilization's accurate, everything, all the stats are accurate. There's a slight thing that needs to be corrected with when you hit max to either stake all of your BTCB or remove all your BTCB or bomb. It's not rounding correctly, so it's giving errors sometimes, but that'll be corrected soon. And yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, there's the APR is up at 193%. I was just playing, I was just playing around with it and just getting the utilization up high, and because anytime the utilization is over 70%, the APR is going to be climbing. So it's been sitting at like 90 or 88% for about a week or so. That's a pretty crazy APR. So what if you guys can start to supply some assets to this? That'll be helpful for when we have the rest of the functionality ready in the next day or two. In terms of like leveraging and borrowing, because we can't really do any of that stuff unless we have the single asset supplied. So feel free to jump in there, whoever wants to. This is also operational right now. This is the auto compounding vault. This is also how you build up your collateral in order to leverage or borrow. So this is working. The max, I'm not sure where this number is coming from, but you have to actually just to use this in the immediate future, you have to know how many LP tokens you have and basically manually type it in. So not the best in this exact second, but that'll be corrected soon.
Yeah, say something that can be polished up, right? Like you just said. For now, let's try and we'll do a little announcement or a little article on just trying to stake some assets, stake some bombs, stake some BCB, and then we're all ready to go. When it's all complete, we can really fire away and start leveraging up.
Yep. One thing to keep in mind is that some of these stats, they're going to be like a minute or two delayed. So, if you throw in a bunch of BTCB and you don't see the utilization, switch right away, it's normal. The stuff that's related to like your own user, like what's in your wallet or what you have staked, that's going to always be fetched like real time. But the rest of it's coming from, a back end with some data there. And it's not always right up to the current block. It can be delayed a little bit sometimes.
We'll definitely remind people about. Awesome. All very excited. It's looking great. I'm loving it.
And that's the dark mode. There's the light.
Oh God, no. Change that back. You can see my face light up, can't you?
That's why I did it.
He knows too well.
Anybody have any questions about the UI or progress or feedback?
I think a couple of questions I've been asked, not on the stream obviously, but in Discord especially, was what's going to be coming after this in the new UI. So we'll have the leveraging going, and then what's coming next.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we are going to add on to this that I might have hinted would be there at the very initial release. So, I mean, to make a long story short, the main developer who's working on this, he's had another project that he's just finishing off right now. So we're basically going to have access to him full time very soon, and that's why this has been delayed as much as it has. But yeah, we'll have full access to him and his team in the next week. And so, for finishing this off and adding all the extra functionality that, was discussed at the beginning, such as, some of those easier to use wallets for people that are new to DeFi, buying with fiat's really only takes like 5 minutes to add, but that's not present here right now. Swapping and adding liquidity without leaving the site, that's not currently here, but that's something that's, again, it's very quick to do. I'm just trying to keep the developer focused on the parts that are critical first. So I'm not like adding tasks to his to his list of things to do until this stuff's done. So, but that'll all come very shortly after, along with we'll just continuously keep upgrading it.
So yeah, as soon as we can get these single asset staking, it's a bit, you read the same as me, a little bit more full. Yeah, we can start leveraging.
We can use the LP1 as collateral. Yeah. So it's probably good that we talk about this actually. So this is quite a different system from like Midas or, any of your or even like BUSM, because those are like over collateralized type lending and borrowing. So the big difference is that because this system on our new UI only works with LP tokens as collateral, and in this specific case, just the BOM BTCB LP, it actually allows you to leverage really extensively with relative safety, because that's just what the whole system was geared for. And because like when you're leveraging, you're borrowing both assets equally. The only way that you kind of get in trouble is if the ratio of those two assets like drastically shifts. And, obviously with us being a peg token, that's not very likely to happen like it could with, your standard stable coin pair, where if a crypto were to take off or dump it, it could really mess with the ratio between the two assets.
Yeah. So when you say drastically for the people, what sort of like percentage?
Yeah. So I'll address that now.
Okay, cool.
Pull up the question for it, right? So having said like what I just said, like it actually is like really safe to I shouldn't really say that. It's a lot safer than it typically would be to really like push your leveraging abilities. Like so given that like we were at a peg of exactly 1, let's say for an example, if you leverage 6 times, so if you have 10 LP tokens and you leverage that 6 times out for 60 LPs, you would still have enough, wiggle room on both sides that the ratio, so look at our peg as the ratio, basically, it could jump up to 2.0 or drop in half to 0.5, and you would still be safe in that 6 times leverage position. So wow. That's a lot of wiggle room for like such a high leverage position, where like with BUSM and with Midas, those are going to be over collateralized borrowing positions or lending positions, however you look at it. So you're kind of like, you're putting up $100 to be able to borrow 75. Where with this, you're putting up, 100 and borrowing 600, because that's just how it's designed. So it's definitely different. I mean, I guess you could say it's maybe not as flexible if you're looking for very specific types of lending and borrowing, but in terms of what it was meant to do, it does it exceptionally well. And then not only that, but like, like I've mentioned previously, what Taro did, and, we forked Taro, they incorporated the auto compounding vault, kind of sandwiched it right in the middle of the whole system. So basically like when this was first created, you would simply, deposit LP tokens, and then you could leverage that up so you could earn more trading fees by having more LP tokens. Now you can still do that, but it can also utilize them in our farms at the same time. So it's actually kind of similar to what we have coming up with Midas, right? Like kind of how like they say like we can, you can use XBOM or not XBOM, you could use our LPs as collateral, and at the same time be collecting farm rewards. So I mean, in essence, it's like that, right? Where you can, your collateral is actually working for you, and you're using it as collateral. Yeah. But it's just different in terms of, I guess, like how much you can leverage, and like, this is really the borrowing on this is meant to be done evenly so that you can leverage out your position. Where like something like Midas or BUSM is more, use it for whatever you want. Like, you sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not nearly as ideal for like leveraging out your LP position. While it could be used for that, you're not going to be able to leverage nearly as far, and you're not going to have as much wiggle room. So in terms of farming, this is actually, like in our team meeting yesterday, I explained it pretty well. Like, a good way to look at this is, so single asset staking could be for people that are like new to DeFi, or they're, or they just like less risky investments. For example, they just want to put Bitcoin in and, not worry about impermanent loss or what the pair is doing, anything like that.
Yeah.
What this essentially is letting us offer is it's letting us give the single asset stakers indirect access to our farm's amazing APRs. And like the way that that happens is our farms pay so well that it's worth people that are farming, it's worth it for them to borrow assets to be able to leverage their position and have a much bigger farm with the leverage. And the more demand there is for the assets, the higher the utilization will be, which means that they'll pay a higher APR to borrow those assets. So essentially, this is going to fuel the APRs of BOM and BTCB here, and that's not coming from like protocol rewards. That's actually coming from people that are borrowing, but they're making money. They're making more money at the same time because the farms pay so well.
Yeah. All loops back into itself, and we can't wait to start advertising, especially the BTCB, because on our side, the DeFi side, within the BOM protocol, we've got loads of BOM. All of us have lots of XBOM, and especially from prints and things, which we can fill that up pretty easily. So it's just getting the BTCB users in, which shouldn't be hard. Like you said, it's completely risk-free in the whole sense that it is just BTCB. There's nothing else involved. If somebody wants to buy and hold BTCB, then best place for it is with us.
Yep, as has always been the case, but just now we have additional options. So if you like Bitcoin, we got something for you.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Midas testnet is definitely up. I've been pretty busy this week. I haven't had a chance to play with this yet, but yeah, the testnet is up and ready for us to play with. I think it was mentioned that we might even be ready to go live later this week.
It was teased, later on this week. Yeah, so hopefully, not saying guarantee here, guys.
Let's be safe and say early next week, but might get a surprise later this week.
Yeah, I can go and read what they said.
I think everything's good in terms of code and everything. I think they're just polishing a couple things. The UI is available right now at max.bom.app. It just it's going to be while we're giving this developer a couple of days to finish up his other obligations. There will be continuous improvements on it, but once we have his his undivided attention, things will move really quick on this.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing stuff. Let's see that
one beefy. So this is another tough one. I mean, we I don't know if everybody knows the history of this, but we basically had a deal worked out with them like 2 months ago. And we had a deal where we're going to have a boosted vault, and, we basically had everything all worked out. I sent them the tokens for the boost, and, basically right before we're about to go live, they said, oh, by the way, you got to be at PEG. And they're like, yeah, just write us as soon as you're back at PEG. We'll get you, get everything all set up for you right away. So I guess maybe it's been like a little over a month since that conversation. So perhaps they weren't quite as quick to be ready as what they said they were going to be. But last we heard, it was going to be ready by Friday last week. But have you spoke with them this week at all?
A couple of times. And again, last thing I heard was they said Sunday the devs will be looking into it more.
They said this week?
They said last Sunday.
The
one just gone. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So again, I don't want to keep bothering them with messages. Like I'm sending them 2 or 3 a week as it is. I don't want to keep bombarding them and annoy them as such,
And something else to keep in mind, guys, is like we don't really hold back information when we have it, especially when something's like confirmed. So, trust me, we're not holding back the UI and Beefy. We'll definitely let everybody know when it's available, and we're doing everything that we can to, get those out to everyone as soon as possible.
Yep.
Do we have an estimated roadmap planned? So we wrote up a roadmap late last year. It unfortunately hasn't been updated since then, but it was brought up yesterday as well. That's when I realized how outdated it was. So I think I'm going to put that on the list of to-dos and get that roadmap updated because a lot has changed since we last messed with that document. So
you keep adding too many
new items in, and we've already accomplished most of the things that are on that list actually. So got to cross those off and put all of our new ambitions on there. So that'll just be in our documentation. If you want to check back in like a day or two, it should be updated with the new items and the existing items crossed off.
Amazing.
I'll just pull it up right now real quick. I think I might have hit it because I put it down here. Yeah, so this needs a lot of updating. So just give us a day or two to get that done.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Not a problem.
Anybody have any questions about roadmap or Midas UI?
So, just having a little look at the Discord a second to see if there's any other questions which have been asked.
Didn't we used to have like a log of all the questions?
We do, yeah. That's something I'm looking at as well.
I mean, I think let me pull up this question.
Go for it.
I mean, so the question is, do we think that reduced rewards will give us consecutive boardroom prints? At the end of the day, it just really is, what the buy pressure looks like versus the sell pressure. I feel that with the price of our token, and especially like the price of BOM relative to the price of B share, I feel like the emissions were quite high, right? Like there's almost too much incentive to, just to buy B shares and, wait for the print and then to sell dump your BOM. And, we want to incentivize, people that are, cooperating with the community and, doing their part to, create a sustainable ecosystem. So I think reducing emissions is one thing that definitely made sense to do towards that goal. It just, put simply, it's just paying too much. And, I think it will increase our chances of having, consecutive prints. So, I mean, like, I think, a better solution would have been if we could have, 10 times the liquidity that we had farming and, had B share be 10 times higher as well. I mean, that would have been a more ideal solution, but unfortunately, that's some of those variables are outside of our control. So while we work towards that, we'll just have lower emissions and we'll adjust back if needed.
Definitely. It's something we've touched on before as well. Like, I do keep seeing the repeated question about BUSM peg, and people saying, why isn't it at peg? And just the basics behind why people are borrowing as they are, and selling for other assets rather than the peg being stable. So I want to touch on that. It's just to basically say that all of these people that have already put their XBOM in and they're borrowing against it, at some point they have to pay back that loan to get their XBOM back out. So they need to buy BUSM, off the market, because if they've already borrowed it and sold it, they need to buy it back to get the XBOM out. So
yeah, like one way to look at it. Oh, sorry to cut you off there.
That's right. No,
one way to look at it is like you have, again, it's the classic peg situation of it just it's buys versus sells, but so you have everyone that wants to farm this pair because it's one of the highest paying stable pairs I've ever seen. So those people are often going to just buy on the open market to start farming the pair instead of buying BOM. If it's someone that's part of our protocol, they're very likely to borrow to get involved. But if it's someone that's not already part of our protocol, they're probably just going to buy it on the open market. So that's where a lot of buying pressure has been coming from. It's just people that want to farm the pair. Not only that though, like everybody that's sold BUSM without buying it on the open market, like Dan was saying, they've all borrowed it, which means that they owe that BUSM back, plus they owe 0.5% borrowing fee that they got charged right when they borrowed it, plus they're paying interest on that as well. So not only do they have to pay back what they borrowed, but they have to pay back more than what they borrowed, or their XBOM is locked up forever, right? So it's a situation where I'm sure the vast majority of people are going to want to have access to their XBOM for one reason or another at some point in the future. So right now, the only place to get BUSM, besides borrowing, is to buy it from the pair. So it really is just a matter of time before it gets back to 1.0, and when it gets there and shows some stability, like I'll gladly put limit orders like 1 or 2 cents above and below peg, and do what I can to keep it there.
Yeah, and say to add to that as well, if you're one of those people right now who is currently borrowing, you've used XBOM as collateral, now's a great time to pay it back. Below 70 cents for BUSM, it's cheap to pay it back. So the more you think about it, the more it makes sense.
I just pulled up a question. is there a plan to get the word out to more people and increase the user base, or do you think this will happen organically as the partnerships come to fruition? I mean, we're gonna always do everything that we can, really, to get word out. So, like, we're gonna, we've been waiting on the UI to do like a big marketing push for the DeFi side. We're already got the wheels in motion to do a huge marketing push for Bomb BTC single staking. We've had such success with the Bomb BTC mainnet staking over the last 2 weeks that it's become obvious that that's our niche. That's where we kind of stand out from everybody else, is that we're able to offer this, and we're able to offer like a truly unique service to anybody that has BTC, regardless of DeFi experience, or regardless of a lot of other variables that sometimes had to be present for someone to be able to participate in Bomb money. So I strongly believe the potential for BTC single staking is in the thousands and tens of thousands of BTC potentially. So so that's that's where I see the future going.
And that'll be a really solid base and lots of liquidity for Bomb as well. Just to add to that, to all these.
Actually, did I cover that whole question? Let me see again. Oh yeah. So I mean, I guess the second part of that question is, I do think that the partnerships are going to greatly help to spread the word, and especially Beefy with their huge user base and all their big following. I think that's definitely going to be beneficial. But we're not going to slow down anything else just because of that. So we're going to pretty much always be firing on as much as we can, and do everything that we can to get as much get the platform in front of as much users as we possibly can, and make the experience the best that we can, just so that we can convert as many of those visitors to customers or to users. And yeah,
definitely.
So I heard that you're planning on about locking rewards. If you are, when are you going to implement it?
I'm not sure on this one.
I'm not sure when I would have said anything about that.
No, do you want to explain what you mean there, Vincent? Hey, is that the guy from Chainsmokers? I googled it. I haven't even seen it before afterwards, and I don't get the resemblance.
Basically, it is.
Apparently, yeah. Chainsmokers live. He's going to do it now. Of course, he is.
It is him.
Let's have a look. Get on the big screen.
Here, I'll zoom in for you. How's that?
I don't even know which one.
Could be either.
Okay, there you are. God knows.
Oops. Oh.
I'm trying to think about what Vincent said there, and if I know we've talked about how that would be a good solution to things, but I don't think we've ever said about implementing it. Plus, most of the things we've got going already it's already in the contract, right? And it's all hard coded. So we can't do too much to it. The shorter one, apparently. Okay. Oh, I love it.
This guy.
That guy there. Okay. Only more of a gingery colored hair and beard, but yeah, okay. I can see it. Love it. Question there.
Looking for the alpha.
Oh, at the same time.
You can control it.
You can. Thanks, buddy. Any more info on that super secret? Thanks, bud. Super secret project you're working on? There's a reason why it's super secret. So we got nothing else we can say at the moment, but it has been, apart from obviously Bomb. This has been like an extra thing we've been thinking about on the side of. I'm not going to say too much. Just to how to make Bomb last for years to come. I'll put it at that.
And yeah,
I think we'll put it at that.
And it's also, I guess we could also say that it's not it's something that's going to happen. It just we're just ironing out the details, and it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Only
What's
thing I
this?
see locking is the BTC single stake deposit. Yeah, so even that's not even a true lock. It just, you just can't take all of the rewards that you've accumulated
Yeah.
freely before 6 months, but it's still not
Yeah,
like locked.
Yeah, there's no hard lock on that one there at all. Like Aaron just said, there's a tiny withdrawal fee if you do it within the 6 months, and as Aaron said, you get a portion of your reward. So say if you're 3 months in, you get 50% of the rewards that you've actually gained.
And also, you have to forfeit the. We have a promotion going on right now where you get a 5% bonus on what you stake.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so our competitors are given 8% a year that they're given. We're just given 5% of a bonus right off the bat just for staking with us.
Yeah.
On top of our better APR, but yeah,
Just
that does get forfeited. All right. So Vincent's drunk. His statement was
good man.
Or going to send XBOM rewards to a reward distributor contract so it comes in evenly. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's.
I see what you mean.
Now I see what you mean. Yeah. So that's not really like us locking tokens. It's more just changing the way that we distribute tokens for the rewards. But yeah, that's definitely something that has to happen because I've seen people are definitely taking advantage of that. Not many. I think there's just one or two that I've seen, but they're trying to milk it in a big way. So we'll definitely switch that. Although we're gonna have the 7-day time lock on that again, so it's gonna be a 7-day wait once we have that distributor contract in place.
Yep. Say this one here. Ooh.
Okay, all right, you control it.
Get out of it. So this one here for 6 months, which will be similar to yield nodes. I'd say it's pretty similar to yield nodes. We just want to keep it really accessible.
But with nodes, don't you lose your initial with nodes, or I've never really participated
yield
in
nodes?
one.
No, you just lock it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all. But yeah, very similar. But we want people to have access whenever they want. We don't want that being a barrier of sorts. If you're depositing somewhere, you don't want to say, yeah, that's locked in there for 6 months. We're offering you the chance to take it out early with pretty much, hardly any penalty. Really, you just get reduced rewards. That's it. Everything trying to entice the new users in. Don't want to put anybody off. And most people, if they see big fees or they see a lockup, that's a big no-no for them. This one here. When boardroom reward restructure? I think that's sort of 5 days time, is it?
I mean, it's already it's already been finalized. Like it's already been decided. It just we have to wait the 7 days for the time lock. So let me check the status of that.
Yeah,
I submitted all the proposals to the time lock right when that vote passed. So I think that was Sunday morning, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So that's all of our tier changes. April 30th in the morning. 3 days.
Oh, man. 3 days. Wow. That went quick.
Yeah. So tier 4 is going to 1.5, and then 1.37, 1.25, and 1.12.
Love it. All I'm saying is you get away with it if you see it necessary or beneficial. We'll keep an eye on it, but for now we've had hardly any withdrawals from our BTC mainnet. Only like a few tiny ones, I would say. But we don't see any.
No one with the big positions withdrawn.
No, we've got multiple BTC in there now, and no problems at all. People just farming away. They're all happy because recently we've been very close to peg, so everything their end is showing their YB BTC, which is just the yield bearing BTC pair they've got, which is basically our bomb BTCB over here, is staying really level with Bitcoin, so they've got nothing to worry about.
There's something cool I'll show everybody. So these B bombs that I'm looking at right now, this is like the receipt token that you get back when you do single asset supplying. So this is not even in production yet, but just to show you guys, where is it? Exchange rate. Yeah, so this has already gained 5%, 5.4%. So like, if you put in, 0.1 BTC, now you got, 0.105. And that's without even any real use. Like I just have a small LP position that I leveraged, but because of the utilization so high on BTCB, just a really small sample positions has caused that to grow 5% in a pretty short period of time. So it's gonna be pretty exciting having a single stake BTCB that's paying as good as that's gonna pay. Gonna be another way Bombs just sets himself apart, from the other protocols out there.
I love it. Yeah, so over the next day or so, I'll definitely get something together about getting people into this and start staking up single assets. And then as soon as we're ready for the leveraging, I know it still works now, but when it's a bit more polished, we can get people into that and really take off.
Yeah. So just be careful, guys. If you have an uneven amount in your wallet, this is rounding up right now, or maybe just rounding to whatever's closest, but rounding up will actually cause it to fail. So you might have to just manually switch like the last decimal that you see to a 1 digit lower if it's failing on you. But we'll have that polished up real soon.
Yeah.
When casino.
Let's
go right now. Pick me up.
Say in all seriousness, for that one there, we have been looking at a few different options for because we've already got Bomb Casino, right? Bomb.casino.
Oh yeah.
You've got that one there. We're looking into a few ideas of what would work really well. There's a couple we like. Let's say,
I don't even have that set up. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that one there. So we've got a few ideas in mind that we can do for that one there. That's definitely an opportunity. We're going to capitalize on it. And sort of probably.
Actually, you know what? I saw a good example from Tomb that has something to do with that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we might have to steal some of their ideas over there for that. They had a really nice diagram just kind of showing how different aspects of their ecosystem are connected. So, I'm not sure if I could pull that up right now.
So
medium. Yeah, here we go. So this is them showing the ideal way that they want you to swap assets. So I think they had something else. I thought they had more than just that. I think they might have a strategy section somewhere that has a bunch of those. Okay, here we go. Oops. Okay, so it's saying, you start with Tomb. These are your different options with it. We could have something like that with Bomb. We have a lot of different things that you can do with it. Okay, so this is what you would do with like single staking. This is what you do with the different pairs. That's pretty cool.
I like that. Very good.
Yeah, so not difficult at all. And yeah, I think it's really important for us to do that.
Yep. So have you got any
this is like a great template to work off, something like this. Just nice and simple.
Yeah.
Because I guess ours wouldn't be like quite as many options at the very beginning. Actually, it would be up there though, right? Like, I mean, you have Bomb that can go into XBomb. You have Bomb that can be single staked at, our new UI. You have multiple different pairs that Bomb can get into. So yeah, actually ours probably would be at least this intricate, even from the very top. Yeah. So James said that'd be good. Definitely think it would make the whole system a lot easier for people to understand if they could see the bigger picture and how it all works together. Yep, definitely agree, man. And that's also, why we have, we put all the stats on the right-hand side here. The earning forecasts aren't working quite yet. And the borrow here is kind of adding everything up, which is not really what makes sense mathematically. It should probably be exactly like how Tarot does it, where it just shows you like what your equity is worth. So if you have like $1,000 position and you leverage it out 5 times, 6 times, 10 times, whatever you do, it doesn't immediately change your actual equity like drastically. It's over time that you would accumulate equity faster with the leverage position. That's probably what it should show. It should show, there probably needs to be one more line here where it just shows like, farm equity farm position size and borrowed, right? And then like the equity would be like the size of your position minus what you've already borrowed. If that made any sense. Do you think the casino stuff would cheapen the bomb brand? You know what? That's a great question. And that's, like I think of all the ideas that we get, I generally try to stay like really open with them. And if there's any way at all it could be beneficial, I try to figure out like how we can implement it. But one thing that I do try to stay away from is anything that's going to hurt the brand, because we're really building a strong, professional, sustainable, long-lasting brand. So I'm really not into like certain gimmicks or short-term things. And I don't know if a casino necessarily falls into those categories, but it is definitely a deviation from my core vision. But I don't know, it's not out of the question, but it's not on the top of the priority list either.
Yeah,
and again, if it's something the community really wants to see, then definitely put that forward and we can reprioritize that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a borderline subject, really. Like you said, it's
some people love it and some people hate it, and I'm on the fence. I don't really care.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's going to be like game changing in terms of like how much additional bomb demand there would be, unless it was so well developed that it could be a standalone service, right? Like, I could be completely wrong about that though. So that's just, I guess, how I look at it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'd love to hear more about that though. If you guys have any comments or questions about casino idea or feedback, let's move on for now. Would it be possible to borrow a single asset against an LP? For example, could a user borrow bomb against and stake? Yep. So that definitely works. As I mentioned earlier, it's not really like what this is intended for, but having said that, it still definitely works. So, because I mean, when you do leverage the position, essentially it's just taking, it's basically just borrowing both the single assets, but just in like the exact right amount to be able to leverage your position further. So, at any point after you have a leverage position, you could pay back either one of those assets independently of the other one. And at the same time, you could also borrow either one of them without borrowing the other one. So yeah, you can definitely, I could probably pop on Terra for a second just to show you guys. I don't have a position there, but I'm all in on bomb.
He's got 3 whole FTM. Who are you?
Got to bridge that over. So let's just go to any of these. Actually, so look at that. Like that is nutty. You're getting 3.34% leveraged you're getting 3.34% APR, but if you leverage 5 times, you get 122%. So what that tells me is that these assets must be cheap to borrow. Yeah, they are.
Wow.
Yeah. So RUI is going to be a lot easier to use in this, but essentially, once you have an LP position, so once you've deposited on this page here, this creates your collateral position. Once you have a collateral position, you can leverage, which just increases your LP tokens and automatically farms them. Or you can just go to either of the assets and you can just borrow or repay. Right. And like, so times when that would be useful is like, it doesn't really apply to bomb BTCB, to be honest, but like I'll give an example. Like when I was in, like a US stablecoin phantom pair on Taro and I was leveraged, it made sense to, I forget exactly which one I did, but it made sense to repay one of them more and borrow from the other one just based on the action of where you thought the price was going to go. So, I mean, you could do stuff like that depending on what the pair was. In a pair that's meant to basically be pegged to, the other token in the pair. I guess you could have like an extra, like, so for example, if you think the bomb peg is more likely to go down than it is to go like double, you could definitely like, borrow and repay according to that. So you have extra leeway on one side that you might feel that you don't need on the other side, for example. And this will all be shown in the stats, right? So you'll see like what your margins are on both sides. So that is a time when it would probably make sense to, borrow just a single side or repay a single side. if you thought one way was way more likely than the other in terms of ratio movement.
So have you got any more questions at all about Tara or our UI or Midas or anything we've mentioned today, or anything else you want to ask us about? Feel free. I think we've covered what we're going to talk about today. So if you haven't got too many more questions, I think we could probably wrap it up, unless you've got something else, Aaron.
I don't have much else, but let's see if anybody else has any questions.
Yeah, for sure.
I think last week we might have, just make sure that people get their chance to say what they want to say. Trying to find another pair that's like similar to ours. I mean, I guess probably Tomb and Phantom,
right?
Yeah, it's probably as close as it's going to get.
What was that API?
So you can just see it. Just what's that?
So what are those APIs? Can't quite see. The quality doesn't seem to be perfecto.
So the supply APRs, 7% on Phantom, 46% on Tomb, and then the borrow APRs are, about a 50% higher, I'd say. So 10.2 on Phantom and 68 on Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so actually, I guess I have like a crumbs left over from a previous position here. So this is kind of what it looks like to borrow a single asset when you have a leverage position. Although you'll be able to borrow more than that as long as you have more than a penny worth of collateral. Can't do too much of that. Oh, so they let you leverage 14 times on this pair, which makes sense on a peg pair.
Wow. Then it shows you the peg. Is that the peg at the top, 0.9297?
Yeah, so that shows you like the range where you're safe, right? So
yeah.
So what was I saying? I was saying 6 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you look at that range from 6, like at around 6 times leverage, peg can almost drop in half or almost double, and you're still safe. Well, actually, I think the sweet spot was like 5 1/4. That's when you could actually drop more than half or more than double and still be okay.
Wow.
But like, I mean, for those that are, don't mind being a little bit more risky, I mean, a peg token should really stay in that range. I mean, it's designed to. I'm at almost 11% or 11 times leverage here.
So from no leverage to say like a standard 6 times, what's the APR increase when you do that? Let's have a look.
Yes. So keep in mind, it's going to depend on a lot of variables, like, what it's costing to borrow the assets, what the farm's paying. But let's just so at 1 times leverage. Is that?
It's just an example. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So at 1 times, so basically without leveraging, this is paying 10% trading fees and 38% farm rewards. Let's go at like 3 times maybe. So at 3 times, we jumped up to 69% APR, and you can actually see the breakdown here that, you're paying 78%, but you're getting a lot extra because your LP position is 3 times the size.
Yep.
So 69%. You'll find that it scales differently sometimes. So, I've had situations in the past where if I kept moving the leverage up, that the APR at a certain point would actually start dropping because I guess like the utilization went too high on the single asset supplies. So it started to cost more than I would actually earn. That's not likely to happen as much with us because we only have the, very limited selection of pairs. So we are likely to have like, great number of assets applied to those single asset pools.
Yep. Yes, it's the what's there? Almost 7 times leverage. Looking at 107%, was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cost of borrowing here is quite high. I think that's why it's not going higher than the APRs. You can see like quite a bit of the profits being used to pay back the people that have supplied the single assets.
Yeah,
so, I mean that's also the beauty of this though, because all the BTC mainnet guys that we get into BTC single staking, all of their rewards are really coming from other people that are borrowing. They're not coming from the protocol. So basically everybody wins because the people that are borrowing, they're getting to farm more and they are earning more. The protocol doesn't have to split its rewards up to pay out those people, and it's just good all around.
Amazing.
Could you do a couple of articles regarding the partnerships to detail the benefits each will bring? Do we need a couple articles for that? We could probably almost just compile some stuff from what we've already written. I mean, some of these partnerships have been lingering for so long that we've written about them numerous times. We could probably just compile that into a document. Could probably do one per partnership, I guess. Or we could just do one article and just summarize them all.
Probably just the one, otherwise it'll just be a bit too short, I think. But yeah, like you said, we've written about these before. But yeah, you could certainly bring them all into one and make it more compact.
Well,
and easy
I also think that some people might not want to see like a 20-page long article, right? So I think it depends on how much content we have.
True.
Sometimes it's better just to be able to click on exactly what you want to read about.
Yeah,
all depends.
I can't wait for this leveraging. This will be awesome. All one.
Yep.
Bomb.
Love bombs.
We do. We're biased though.
Anyone else have any questions or?
Yeah, I think unless James got another one, I think we've pretty much covered it all. So I can't wait for the UI to be nice and polished soon.
Yep.
It's gonna be amazing. It's bad. Love it. Great pull. Come up with some more later. Brilliant. Do it.
All right. Well,
Brilliant.
I guess we could wait a minute to see if anybody else has any other questions. I'm just gonna make a pool here and see what happens.
Why not? Oh, love my bomber hoodie, by the way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm on the side because of the camera. I keep thinking it's there. Yeah, look, bomb hoodies all around. You got the bomb.
It was not planned.
The baseball. It wasn't planned. Maybe it was. We've got the the baseball top underneath as well. Oh, and also the duffel bag. Hold on.
Oh yeah, you didn't even want to try that.
Boom.
That thing is awesome.
It's definitely not got the cushions inside of it. It does.
All right, we got our pool.
Supply.
Okay, so accept ownership. Sure. Well, I guess if nobody has any more questions, there's no point of dragging the video on.
Yep, I think that'll
Don't
be
want to intimidate future watchers.
Yeah.
The long length.
Yeah. I think that'll be all. Just make sure you tune in. Say Friday, we got our Twitter space. Oh, yeah, I've got a question.
See, I knew if we waited, one would come up.
There we go.
So this is an interesting one. Go for it.
Well,
the question is speculate. Do you expect more BOM or BTCB to be supplied?
I think start with, I'm going to say probably more BOM, just because we've got a lot of people in XBOM who've been receiving from prints and things. But I think over time, the BTCB in there could get really popular on the mainnet, especially as well as DeFi. So I think that could be huge.
Yeah. So I'll just add to that, I feel like it might take some time before the big BTCB holders on Binance kind of take notice to BOM and, I guess, deviate away from where they currently feel safe holding their Bitcoin. I don't know. We just haven't really seemed to have too much. We haven't been too much of a hit with, I guess, the BTC maxis on BSC. So I feel like on the DeFi side, we're going to be taking in a lot more BOM, single asset staked. But from BTC mainnet, of course, those guys are just going to be only supplying BTC. So I think it just really depends on, I think over time, BTC could potentially get more assets applied to it, but I think in the short term, it would definitely be BOM.
Yeah.
And I mean, that'll be a great problem to have, right? Because that means that, people that are getting BOM printed from the boardroom, if BTCB is supplied, or BTC Bitcoin, if is supplied more than BOM, that means the BOM utilization is going to be really high, which means it's going to be paying like 200% APR just to do a single asset supply on BOM. So that's pretty crazy. So, I mean, that's a great situation to be in. Because our farms pay good enough. It's worth, as long as it doesn't cost too much to borrow the assets, it's going to make sense to leverage your position, right? It's just not very risky and makes you a lot more money. So just kind of makes sense. This pool is offering rewards.
Oh, liquidity, huge.
Okay, borrow balance. Where's that pool that I made? Oh, right here. Unsafe. Yeah, so they're going to have BTCB is definitely going to be one of the assets you're going to be able to borrow. That's one that we've definitely discussed in detail. I think there's going to be other ones, though. And for collateral, you're going to have the option of XBOM or the BOM BTCB LP that will earn you farm rewards while you're got that deposited as collateral.
That's huge. Alex's pool, love it.
How did they get rewards on their test pools? Okay, so just very similar to other protocols I've seen. You just have the option to like flip on leverage collateral for the different assets.
Awesome. I think all the questions done. What do you think?
Okay, this is how you do it. This is how you add. All right, well, I'll play around with this on my own time. Won't keep you guys.
Yeah, amazing. So, Lydia, make sure you tune into our socials. We got Twitter Space on Friday where you can all join in and have a little chat with us, ask any questions that you've got then. And can't wait for the UI. It's going to be good. Yep. Amazing.
All right, guys. See you guys Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.